everybody, and welcome to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
And I am the very model of a modern Major General. I'm Brownie.
Oh, man, we're back. What episode are we on? 56?
56.
Woo!
Jeez.
What a ride it's been. It feels good to be back in the studio.
It does.
So last week was our first episode back down here, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So you know what I've been working on, Chris?
Yes, no. What?
So we had the I'm No Jedi video.
Oh, yeah.
And we are recutting it, and I've been working on a recut. So it's been really fun. And then I was like, I've been rewatching Clone Wars and rewatching Rebels, and it's like
They're good stuff.
It is really, really, really good television. Like really, really good.
So how many seasons of Rebels are there?
4.
4? And there's no, rumored 5th season coming or anything?
I don't... there actually is a rumored 5th. I believe there is a rumored 5th.
Really?
I think so.
And Sabine?
Yeah, going on a thing. Going and doing stuff. But
Heck
if you
yeah.
haven't watched it, you need to go watch it.
It's really good.
It's really, really, really good.
All right.
I was
Still
excited.
22-minute episodes?
Still
Yeah,
22
same
minutes
with
episode.
Clone
Yeah,
Wars,
same
yeah.
length and everything like that. And there's the major antagonist. There's some Maul and some Thrawn.
Okay.
So you get
Mostly
2 really
Thrawn.
good characters. Thrawn's 3 and
you've
4
got
and
Governor
Maul's.
Price.
She's Miranda Price or whatever.
Yeah.
But really, really good. Really, really good show. So I'm excited to re-release that. But the other thing that's been fun for me is in the past we've worked with, you know what? We need to have Kalen on the podcast.
We do.
Yep.
So we just had a positive, super positive interaction with Kalen, and I'm friends with him on Facebook and see all the work that he's doing. And then full circle, I'm talking about this because he helped us with the music video. So I
Yes.
just wanted to
I was gonna say we should tell people who Kalen is, not just Kalen, this guy we know.
Yeah. Well, he's my roommate.
So
Yeah, Chris's
he's
roommate.
Chris's roommate, but he also wrote the clean track, did all the audio recording for you and doing the singing part, cut that all together and give you the final delivered product,
He did
Chris.
such a good job with it. YouTube flagged it as bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is clearly Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
So
And we're like, actually.
I was blown away when he sent it to me. And so I've got
me
a
too.
couple more tracks I need to get a hold of him for and have him make for me.
Yeah, there's the Taylor Swift one for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That I want to do. And now that the weather is nice.
And well, here's the other fun thing about that is that's in correlation to stuff that is in the future still.
Yep.
So we're good yet.
Yeah.
We're still, because making content is half part making it and half part being relevant.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's super important to be relevant to what's going on.
Well,
And
speaking of relevance, did you see Justin's most recent video has been blowing up?
no,
Really?
really?
So he was talking about. We'll link to it in the description or up in the
Yeah.
info card or something.
Cinephile Studios are talking
Yeah.
about.
So we've had Justin on.
Yep.
Couple
Couple times.
He
Once.
people are talking about there's that whole Snyder cut for the DC. I can't remember what it is. Justice League.
Yep.
Or whatever, and so then because of that, people have been clamoring for other versions, other directors' cuts of other things, and then one of the things is Seth Green did motion capture and voiceover for the main character of Mars Needs Moms. And then
Really?
they replaced him with a different actor because they didn't think his voice was right for the character. So everyone's like, we need the Seth Green cut. And it turns out that it's on the Blu-ray. You can't access it, but when he did the rip, he accidentally found it.
No
When
way.
he was doing the review for it. So he tells this story in way better detail and much more eloquently.
Man.
On his channel about how he accidentally 2 years ago found the Seth Green cut of Mars Needs Moms.
What? But the video just came out now?
Yeah, last night I think.
Oh,
Oh.
that's why I haven't seen it yet.
So
Okay.
yeah, I can't. Remember, I was just randomly on YouTube, staying up way too late. And I was like, "Oh, Justin's got a new video to check it out." I love his intro.
Oh, it's
For
fun.
his
Yeah,
channel.
absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to have him back on too.
Yeah.
And then with even BRD11, our number one YouTube fan, he was like, "More Justin,"
Exactly.
when Justin was on the podcast.
Well,
so.
Justin was supposed to be on the podcast, wasn't he?
He was
and then
before.
did
the
COVID
week that
happen?
COVID happened.
Yeah. And so that just kind of went down the toilet. But we'll have him on again. I mean,
Absolutely. Well, that's our plan. Going into the summer now is I want to just go, hit as many more guests as we
Yeah.
can because that's what makes it
For
fun.
sure.
But I
Have
completely
Keith
forgot.
on
We had
again.
Kalen down here one day to be on the podcast.
And I forgot the
oh
SD
yeah, that's
card.
We bought the
right. And then he
cards.
ended up having to leave.
Yeah.
It was shortly after we did I'm No Jedi.
Yeah, it was a week or two later.
Oh, because
yeah.
we're going to have him talk
Because we
about
wanted it to kind of be relevant with him, helping us with that. And well, maybe once we release the new
re-release
cut,
it, we can have him
maybe
on.
we can have Kalen on again. And
'Cause he's been doing some really cool projects. It's been
Yeah.
Kara was talking to me down here that it's just a matter of time before like. He
yeah, I
makes
feel
really
like
good
I feel like
content.
he's
Yeah.
gonna go places. Like seeing the stuff that he's been posting on Facebook is like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
It's funny. I live with him, and I don't see anything that he ever made. I'm barely on Facebook.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny because like one of my coworkers showed me something somebody else posted. I'm like, I'm friends with them, and I don't see their stuff. You really have to like go to people
Yeah.
and engage with their page to even
In
see what
order
they
to start seeing this stuff on
to
your
see what they
newsfeed.
post.
Yeah.
Yeah, the algorithms like so.
When Facebook first came out, it was the best. Because
Yeah.
you'd get on and it would show you every post from everybody in
Yep.
order
In
of which they
chronological
posted.
order, yeah.
So you could be like, okay, and you just go backwards and see what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the same thing with Instagram used to be like that. Twitter used to be, and everybody switches to the stupid algorithm model because then they can hide stuff and they can put ads in it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's really frustrating.
It
Like even
is.
when you sort by most recent, it still filters stuff
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it's like I'll see stuff. Like,
Yep.
oh, like there's people who post constantly and I'll see their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a little less. And I see a little less. And it's like, is this person still friends with me anymore?
Yeah.
And then I go to their page and it's like, oh, we are. And then I'll
Like,
start to see stuff
Here's
again.
the
'cause
thing:
I went,
show me everybody's stuff. If I don't want to see their stuff, I will decide and I will unfollow.
Yeah.
Remain
Right.
friends, but unfollow. I've done that to people.
I think
yeah.
everybody's done that. I just straight up unfriend everybody. I have
do
like
you?
70 friends on Facebook only.
I do
Um,
every once in a while. I do a Facebook purge. I'm like, when was the last time I talked to you? Never.
I don't like it when people are like, gonna do another purge, comment if you want
Yeah.
to stay on my
I
friends
never
list.
reply.
I never do either. And guess who never gets cut?
But like I definitely go through and I'm like, there are people, it's like, I don't even know who the hell this person is.
See,
I
that's
know.
just it. It's like, how did we become friends in the first place?
So I have a funny story. So last week we told the bubblegum chopper story, right?
Yes.
And it was really funny to me that my mom gets on there and she posted an exact picture of the thing I
Yeah.
was talking about. The other thing is like sometimes you misremember stuff. And some of the stuff I talk about seems pretty outlandish. I get it. Tasering friends with disposable cameras. Nope, there's a picture for that. I saw it a lot. And then same thing. Yes, my dad really had my friends and I work with bubblegum and gloves on. That was a real thing. And it was like, these pictures reiterate that I'm not crazy. So I get done, and it's like I don't feel like I have that many friends on Facebook. I don't Snapchat anybody. Like I have one, I don't use it nearly enough. Right? I'm totally Facebook stories are a thing that I don't get. So I got done, and I'm sitting there at work, and we're like, I was joking on the podcast. I said, "Oh, I've only got 6 friends back in that day." Right? It was like all sad about it. And that's maybe a lot, maybe a little. I don't know. So I was sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going through," and I woke up early on the 27th, which is the day after my birthday. And I went back, and every person who said happy birthday to me, I wrote a little message back to them.
I didn't get a
thanking
little
them.
message.
You're the only one.
I didn't post anything on his Facebook.
So I wrote through, and I was like, oh, so I knew that 37 people wish me happy birthday. Now, I wasn't quantifying the number or even putting any weight or thought into it, other than when I clicked on like my page, it said Kara, and 36 other people wished you happy birthday. So I was like, oh, cool. So I wrote all these messages, right? So we go to work. And
36 messages.
And I
Jeremy, do you want to take a minute to compose a quick...
So it's funny. So then I'm sitting there, and it was literally a coworker of mine share the same birthday. And it gets even weirder because our moms share the same birthday.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Brooke?
Yeah. We're both May 26th, and our moms are both April 14th. Which is like...
Interesting.
Anyways.
Same year? Well, but not for
One-
you and Brooke, obviously, but your mom.
No, different
No.
years for them too,
Okay.
but same day. So anyway, so she was like, so I was like, yeah, I just went back and I wrote 37 messages this morning. I'm like,
36.
'cause I'm not so I'm not that popular, right? And they look at me and they're like, 37 people wish you happy birthday? So then it became a thing where every single person in the shop pulled out their phone, went back to their birthday. So Brooke only had like 16 people wish her happy birthday. And Derek's like, I got 12. So like, you're super popular. I was like, okay,
What
sweet.
he doesn't tell you is all family members.
Yeah, I just have a big family. That's right. Exactly.
I purposely hide my birthday on Facebook just 'cause I don't want to have to deal like I get it, like people want to say happy birthday or whatever. It's never really been that big of a deal to me, so I'm just
Right.
like meh or whatever. So it's like I know guaranteed there are 2 people that will always post. And my mom knows that I don't like social media, so she
Right.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have an aunt that will always, she posts on everybody, I guarantee every day she posts about somebody's birthday. So she is like the consistent birthday wisher, which is fun. I like it.
Yeah.
She's like Leslie Knope. Every day is something special.
And then my sister will always post it. She goes to every single different thing that we're all on. So it's like Discord, Twitter, Facebook.
No way.
Like she'll like message the YouTube channel and like all
Oh my
every
gosh.
and it's always at like 12:01 a.m.
Right?
So she's
I'm
the
the
first
first
person to wish me a happy birthday on literally everything. Like, I'm trying to think about this yourself, Vox or email.
I just picture Gwen sitting there with like a suitcase she pulls out every year and it says do not open until Chris's birthday. She's just like 11:59 just thump. Pulls out her notepad. That's okay. I got to hit Chris on Facebook, Insta, like you said, Discord, and just happy birthday.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. So I get like notifications on apps that I haven't opened for a year. I think there was like 4 years on Twitter where my only interactions were my birthday wishes from my sister. So it's like, yeah, 2012, 13, 14, and 15.
So this is funny to me is I say happy birthday to people on Facebook that I'm not super close with, but all my close friends, so David and anybody, you guys, I just call or text you. Mm-hmm. But I don't double dip. Some people do the same thing. They're like, they call me and say, hey, happy birthday. And then they also write on Facebook. It's like, you're good. You called me or you texted me.
I feel like the Facebook happy birthday is like less meaningful because it tells you if it's somebody's birthday
Right.
unless they hide it.
Right.
So it's like, so I feel awkward being like, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday. I should write on their wall or whatever. But if
Yeah.
I see it, this is what I do, is if I see it on Facebook, I'll text them and be like, hey, according to Facebook, it's your birthday. If it is, happy birthday.
Well, so the fun thing about that is every year, it must be people like your aunt, I guess. I always get happy birthdays from people that I'm very surprised that would wish me a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Like your enemies?
Like your enemies that you're Facebook friends with. But
Frenemies?
like, yeah, you keep them close. You keep them on Facebook so you can make sure that they're staying away. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Make sure they're not plotting your
Right. So you're like,
Now
okay,
your
you're
entire
good. You're over
Facebook
there,
friend
I'm over
list
here.
is like, am I one of them?
Yeah, right. Unfriend. But no, it's just it's an interesting thing of how people treat that because then it's like if I forget to wish somebody happy birthday in person and then I see that it's their birthday, then you go back and then you're in the belated crowd, and then
Yeah.
it's like happy
I'm-
belated birthday.
You're better than I am, though. When people wish me happy birthday on Facebook, the next day I'm like, hey, everybody, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Because I'm not going to
Kara
go right
just-
to every single person. Yeah,
Massive
right? It's just a blanket thank you.
Blanket statement. Brooke did the same thing,
I know.
and then
I
she
feel
I
like-
feel
laughed.
that's more common.
It is.
She laughed because people were liking the post that she knew didn't wish her happy birthday.
Yeah.
She's like, because that's what I think we brought up the whole thing about. Maybe that's why I talked about like how many people I said thank you to. 'Cause she said, yeah, I just wished a blanket statement. And
Yeah.
she goes, it's really funny. People are thanking or like liking the post even
Yeah.
though they didn't wish me happy birthday. Like,
Well,
you can like this, but you don't. Like,
Yeah.
it's just funny.
Well, that's what will happen because then people will go and comment underneath that like, happy belated birthday. And I'm like, okay. Or the other funny one that I think, well, the one I think is funny, when you say happy birthday to somebody, a lot of people will go underneath that happy birthday and comment,
Oh,
happy
man.
birthday,
Yeah.
happy birthday. And I'm like,
That doesn't get like
Make
lumped
your
in
own
the original
post.
one too. I don't think if they do it that way. So then you have to
Yeah.
like really track that person down to
Right.
thank them if you want.
Yeah.
That's why the blanket post is just probably better.
yep.
But so, we got the whole, COVID thing ever going every on, but I am having a hardcore I really want to go to Disneyland or World.
Oh my goodness.
I
me too.
really, really want to go. Kara's watching this show on Disney Plus called Dream Weddings or whatever.
Disney fairy tale weddings.
It's weddings at Disneyland. Ashley Eckstein, the voice for Ahsoka, is the bridesmaid in the first episode.
Dang.
Yep. It's
So-
her sister was getting married. Her sister's name is Taylor. Her husband's name is Tyler. Taylor and Tyler. So I'm sitting there. I'm watching one of the episodes, and they're following one wedding, and then going back and kind of checking in on the previous
Dude,
couples.
Chris, one of the guys bought his wife or his engagement ring 4 carats.
4 carat.
That is like the size of a quarter. I mean, it is
Mine's.
huge.
I think my center one's 3/4 carat, and I think the total with all the diamonds is like 1.5.
Yeah, and so this is a 4 carat solid diamond. I looked it
This
up.
looks like a ring pop.
Yeah, it's like a ring pop.
Yeah, like
price
this-
starting at
yeah.
$40,000 to $250,000.
Dang.
And it was like
for an engagement ring.
For an engagement ring.
Oh, and get this, it gets better. His grandma and grandpa had died, and so his parents.
That is better.
No. I know. I'm
Carrie,
sorry.
you're so heartless.
And so his parents gave him his grandparents' wedding bands. He sold them to be able to pay for the 4-carat ring.
That's
No.
messed up.
Yep. I was like, who does
But-
that? If your wife is demanding, or your girlfriend's demanding a 4-carat ring, I'd be like, I am not selling my grandparents' stuff
what
to
was
pay
this
for
guy's
this.
job?
I don't know what he does.
Well, that's why I love like the HGTV.
He looked like he belongs on like Jersey Shore or something like that, though. Like he
The-
kind of had the tall, kind of like,
Oh,
you know. I don't know.
But that's why I like HGTV jokes or memes. They're like,
It's,
you
yeah.
watch HGTV and it's like they're couples younger than us, 21 to 25 years old. They're like, yes, we're looking at $3 million homes in San Francisco. And it's like they never tell you what you do for a living. So I saw this meme and it was like, I paint butterflies and
I fold napkins.
Yeah, I fold napkins or whatever. It's just because it's like you wonder how these people afford
Yeah.
these luxurious homes or whatever. And,
Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, it's the same thing. It's like I was watching these weddings. Kara had it on while I was cutting the video together, the new music video, and
So yeah, I
Um,
was
I was like-
watching them check in with the previous ones. I sent it to you while you were at work.
you
So-
did.
So I
But
was watching it, and I'm like, it was just a quick cut to Ashley. It was like she was like blurred because it was focused on the guy, and then it focused on her for like a second, and then focused back out, and I was like, was that Ashley? So I rewound it, and I sat there and I recorded. I was like, Jeremy, look who the bridesmaid is. But it was like the very first season, very first episode.
Okay.
But yeah,
So-
they're
Interesting.
showing like Shanghai Disney, Disney's not theme park, but whatever Disney has a presence in Hawaii, like a resort, and then of
Yeah,
course
Walt
they
Disney.
have.
Alani. Alani is I think that's the resort down there.
Is
The
it?
Alani Resort.
But then they show World and Land, and it's like, I do want to go back to World because I did only go to Magic or Hollywood Studios, and I do want to go to I want to go to Epcot. I want to go to like all the other parks.
Epcot's the best.
Oh, I
I'd-
want to go there. And
yeah.
so they're keeping that ball, the golf ball thing, but that
that
ride's
is
getting
Epcot.
shut down.
That is Epcot, yeah.
But the ball's getting shut, or the ride's getting shut down.
Oh, really?
Done. Retired ride.
What was the ride in there?
Well, when I went there, it's been a bunch of different things. When I went there, it was a space shuttle like launch simulator thing. It was really cool. Like I don't know how they did it, but they made you feel like you were weightless.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah, like it's like you launch and then like for a few seconds it's just like
They must have dropped you like pretty quick, like, you know.
yeah, it was cool. It was really fun. Like I said, that's the most educational of the parks.
But you've got Animal Kingdom too as one.
I
and
didn't
then-
go to that. I could not give less of a crap about Animal
I just want to be able to
Kingdom.
hit them all, and
Yeah.
be able to see them, and have a little. So I want to go to
Oh,
Disneyland
Tower
so
of
bad. or
Terror
World.
was so freaking good. I love the Tower of Terror.
But like when you see, so we're seeing all of this on TV, and it's like I really want to go there.
I
And
know.
Disneyland or World is opening, but no new reservations. It's only for people who've had reservations, and they have to do like all of this social distancing stuff, and it's really sad. I was telling my coworker that, not to me personally per se, but like 2020 on the books is the worst year by far that I've ever experienced
Yeah.
as an adult.
What year was it a couple years ago where like at the end of the year they're like screw this year, let's get on to the next one? Was that like 2016 or 2017?
Wasn't that the year
17
where
is
all
ringing
like
the
the
bell?
big celebrities were dying and stuff like that?
Yeah,
like
just,
Carrie
like-
Fisher, Christopher Lee, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was one of those years where just like everyone's like this year sucks or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like that year is
Wasn't
a
that 14?
paradise compared to this.
Yeah, that was a walk in the
seriously.
park. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, what's been going on. So it's and then so I saw an article and it said that cave. Some explorer found a cave that had been sealed up for 500 years and there's animals in there. And somebody commented, "Close that crap up. 2020 can't handle that right now.
Cancel it until 2021.
Just do not open that right now. Cover it back up." 'Cause there's like all these species that were brand new that they discovered.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, it's not the time to be messing
Okay,
with
so
that.
murder hornets were coming, and
Yeah.
now what's going to come from this hole?
Right?
Yeah.
Don't we have enough on our
Just
plate
tell
right
scientists
now?
not to look for any asteroids that
Right?
can collide with Earth.
Well, then oh
Yeah.
man. So it's just, it's a stressful time right now. It's
I
unbelievable.
can't believe we're halfway through this year and it's just been nothing but a
doesn't-
constant mudslide.
Yeah,
of
It
every
doesn't
single
feel
month
like
it's
it.
some new catastrophe of some sort.
It doesn't feel like it's almost June. Like that's what we're talking about. The music video, we did this. We shot that at the beginning of August last year and put it
Oh
out
my
towards the end of
goodness.
August. And it's like, how does this
We're
even
already
happen?
it's already almost a year out. Dang.
unbelievable.
That's insane.
Yeah, we shot that right after we got back from Disneyland.
And that was already a year
Oh,
ago. I
Disneyland.
want to go back
Oh.
so bad. It's like,
To see if Celebration happens.
yeah, exactly. And it's
Nothing's been canceled yet. And I've heard they're slowly opening Orange County now.
all I know is like a bunch of people in California, like they're having a hard time being able to reshut things back down again. Like people are so sick of being in quarantine that
So I had to go and do a drone shot for work the other day. Thursday it was. Okay, so I gotta complain. Solo 3DR drones are by far the absolute worst drones ever manufactured. I'm gonna make a stand right now. They don't make them anymore. They haven't made them. They didn't make them for 3 years before we bought ours 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
It is the biggest pile of crap in the universe. So I'll just jump to the greatest part. So a couple of months before quarantine ended or whatever, I was literally putting the drone back in that hard case, and I broke one of the legs because I bumped it too hard to the side of the thing. One of the legs just broke off. I was like, this freaking piece of crap. So I bring it down to engineering. They fix it for me. They just like super glue it back on. It's just a leg, right? Like
Right.
this isn't one that retracts or anything. They're just always out. Literally the next time I go out to fly it, the same thing happens to the other freaking leg, right? And so I bring it back down. They super glue it back on. So we're out. We do the flight or whatever. So I'm just gonna complain about the drone first, and then go back to the actual point of the story. We do the thing. I land it. I I pick it up. I'm taking the stuff off or whatever. Like I set it down, and like you know how like when you're going between things, like it's like you'll like turn your foot a little bit or whatever.
Yep.
I literally like if the leg is this, my foot turns into it, snaps the freaking leg right off of it.
oh my gosh.
And I was like, what's wrong with this drone?
What is it made of? Peanut brittle?
It's like it's literally like you cannot if you put any lateral pressure on these legs, they just snap right off.
Ridiculous.
Anyway,
Oh.
so
Go ahead.
So the point of the story, aside the drone being a horrible piece of crap and Solo just never make a drone ever again, please, is there were so many freaking people out. So many people because we were down in
Yes.
Canal Park, and it was like, and of course, it's construction time too. So like traffic was terrible, parking was
Yeah.
terrible, but like I didn't see a single me and Wyatt, who's the chief photog, were the only people wearing masks. You know, and it's like, and of course, like it's hot and it's uncomfortable or whatever, but it's like you don't want to be freaking spreading anything, and it's
Right.
like everybody else not wearing a mask.
What day were you down there?
Thursday.
KBGR, I believe, did an article. They went down on the Canal Park beach. Then the photos
Park
were...
Point?
Park Point, yeah. Like,
Oh yeah,
the photos were unreal, and they interviewed people, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm healthy, so I'm not worried about the risk." It's like that's not the point. You can still spread it and not be whatever. And,
yeah, you can be asymptomatic.
and be you could still wear it. You know what?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was unreal.
I
you know,
think
and
I
then
had it.
you know, and then stuff's
So.
happening in Minnesota right now, and then like the governor's all mad because it's completely undoing a lot of the social distancing that we already did do.
Yeah.
And it's just a trying time.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
the hard part. Is like the patience and resilience of social distancing. Like the amount of work it is to do that can be undone in an order of magnitude less time. You know, it's like you could be socially distanced for a month, and then you go to one protest, and all of a sudden, it's just all that is undone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or whatever. You know, not like, and I don't really feel like we should dive into any of that
No.
stuff, but it's just like
No.
it's so hard to do, and it's like I get that people are just social animals and they want to get out and do stuff or whatever, but
Right.
it's like we got to get ahead of this thing. Like a vaccine's not coming for at least a year,
Right.
You know, so it's like we
Well,
got to
yeah,
do what
there's
we
so
can.
much testing and trialing they have to do with vaccines before they can actually
Well,
put it in a person.
I'm just this
Yeah,
is just
long-term
me.
effects, all
Yeah.
that.
This is just me, like, and then there's been COVID before, and the reason was COVID-19. I'm assuming because it was the 2019.
Yeah, so, it's
Rendition.
novel coronavirus 2019. It was December of 19 when it was discovered.
Yep, and so like part of me too is it's like so you're gonna be making no, so are they doing this for? 2019 is especially bad because the way it transmits. Like it's very, very well at transmitting via fluid. That's why it's like with the masks and everything. But it's like there's been ones before and they just didn't transmit very well. So it's like, and as 2020 could go back to being COVID 2020 could be a rendition of COVID or whatever.
what?
You know,
Yeah.
a poopy. It's viruses. We can be angry about viruses.
He's fired up.
Yeah, I'm
He
fired
is
up.
Fired up.
So it's
This
like
is not for children.
you're right. Oh,
Yeah, do you remember how big of a deal that
hey, we're good
frickin'
now.
COPPA thing was?
I'm just keeping us
I
out of
know.
COPPA. Now this proves that it was not made
yeah,
for
like
children.
nobody cares even a little bit about COPPA anymore.
no.
Well, that's probably because YouTube's probably done a really good job at keeping that like buried. done. Keeping it at the bottom of the
Yeah.
point.
So much stuff.
Yep.
That
But yeah,
was,
so 2020 sucks.
2020 sucks.
Like,
is
the show was okay. The year, terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Vision, pretty good.
Yeah, right. If you have a 2020 vision, you should be happy. But if you have a 2020 year,
Oh
go,
man,
Yeah.
I thought 2020 was gonna
Did
be
you
a
see
good
that
year.
that awesome Marty McFly one?
Oh, yeah.
Doc, do not go to 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only
Yeah,
one
my-
rule.
My boss and I both love Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he saw that, like he shared it and he like was commenting, but was like, "This is so great." I told him the Back to the Future is on Netflix, and he has a little like TV set up in his garage, and his wife got mad at him. He's just watching Back to the Future in his garage.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and then another thing. So we started off talking about like Netflix and stuff, shows to watch, Chris, or whatever. So Avatar is now on Netflix and becoming like the #1 thing. So
the memes for Avatar have been real. Like
there's
there's so many.
Yeah, because a lot of people are jumping on the train for the first time, and I'm excited because it's just like a lady said, or I read a post somewhere that said she wishes Avatar got as much excitement as Harry Potter and Star Wars does. You know, like if they could be like an Avatar land, and all the characters are it's just a fantastic show. Fantastic. And it's been fun because you called me and told me Keith, we've had on as a guest. He's finally watching Gravity Falls,
Yep.
which is epic
Also an
because
excellent
it's
show.
such. Did you get the joke that I made? I miss Gravity Falls.
Oh, yeah.
But my name's getting because it's
Yeah,
from
that's why I said whatever.
Uncle
Yeah.
Stan's or Grunkle Stan's joke. So that's been really good. But yeah, Chris, Avatar and Rebels are both really, really good shows. Really,
Have you not
really-
watched Avatar yet?
No, I've seen a couple of episodes here and there because when I first heard about it was like right after it came out. Nick loved the show.
Yeah.
He was like, "You need to watch this," and he's the one who suggested Gravity Falls and Phineas and Ferb and all these other shows to me, and I just had never gotten around to watching it.
Yeah.
Because like back then when I lived with him, we had cable and I could just like record the
Right.
old
DVR.
episodes off
Oh
of them
yeah.
when they do reruns. And it was just the one that I had never gotten to, and then it was on Hulu, and now it's on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Gravity Falls?
Gravity Falls is on Disney Plus. Yep.
So when I watched on Hulu, which, not to get into a whole thing, but if I'm paying for a freaking Hulu membership, I shouldn't get ads.
Amen.
Like, run 30 minutes worth of ads if you want to, and let people watch it for free.
Yeah.
If I'm paying you money,
right.
don't play ads. Okay,
I know.
that's
No.
I agree. We talked about this in
100%.
other business models as
100%.
well. I read an awesome thing about how like so Quibi's a new thing, is this thing between like TikTok and Netflix, and it's just like the worst thing ever because it was meant to be this quick content you could consume in like 10 minutes was like the target window for most shows. Have you heard about it at all?
No.
Just goes to show how bad they're doing right now. Because it's put on by like a famous musician or something, some rapper, somebody made this Quibi. So it's 10-minute shows. That's the premise, right? And like T-Mobile is offering it up for free right now. Like we can watch it and be a member of it. But people are said there's not enough substance in 10 minutes to like, get attached to the story or the characters. And then like its purpose was pre-COVID, where you'd be in line waiting at like a restaurant. Like, oh, you have a 10-minute wait. Oh, fire up Quibi.
Right.
I can watch these quick shows. So it's like this.
Well, so I would argue, like, so something like Phineas and Ferb, those are 10-minute long episodes. It can be done.
Yeah, it can be done, I guess. But
Right.
But people just need to know how to condense a story. Or like Fairly
Right.
Odd Parents, SpongeBob, all of these are
Yeah,
in a
that's
22-minute
true.
show. You get 2 10-minute episodes.
that's true. That is true. So and they do it well. But I guess the shows that have been put on Quibi don't meet that like criteria. They're like hard to do. I mean, animated is probably better maybe because it's like run with the characters. I don't know. SpongeBob is that's an extremely well done show, and so is Arthur. Even shorter.
Yep.
Garfield and Friends.
Because Arthur, they have a whole second. They have 2 Garfield segments and a U.S. Acres in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So, and they usually have like the shorts or the quickies or whatever they're called in between there too. So those are probably like 7 or 8 minute long episodes.
They pull it
Crazy.
off. That's true. They pull it off. So maybe if those were all put on Quibi, it might do better. But it's like these.
I think the storytelling style you can synthesize like what do they do that works for this, right? Rocky and Bullwinkle, those are like 4 or 5 minute long pieces. Granted, they're all cliffhangers,
right.
But like those are built in a way that it's like you get some satisfaction and enjoyment out of it as it leads to the next one. But that was like it'd be like Rocky and Bullwinkle, then like frickin' Dudley Do Right, and then Fractured Fairy Tales, then another Rocky and Bullwinkle. So you're getting like 4 things in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now with Quibi, is it like, can you put like series type things on there? So like if they did do a 10-minute thing, leave it as a cliffhanger and then release the next one type thing?
It's out and there's shows out there. But here's the stupid thing. All right. So T-Mobile, nobody's weird. No, we have no sponsors, but it's just us, what I'm exposed to. I switched from AT&T to T-Mobile and save a ton of money. I really like T-Mobile. Service is 90% of, just as a G-Whiz thing. Service is like 90% of what AT&T was. It's good enough, or it's like the price point. Anyways, so
just real quick, that reminds me of those Sprint commercials where they're like, "We're basically as good as AT&T." Like when they're talking about, it's like we cover 99% of what everybody else covers. Like,
yep.
Everyone's pretty good.
That's what it is. It's like I'll have some. Like, there's straight up dead zones, but they're only like a mile. Like I know where they are or whatever. Like it's crazy. But it was way cheaper. I'm super happy with T-Mobile. And so they gave us Netflix for free. And then they upped it to $2. And then if you want the 4 streaming at a time HD version, it's $5 a month. It's still nice because it'd be $15 a month on my own or whatever through my own plan. So I love it. So then they're like, oh, you get Quibi for free and you get Netflix. But for a year. Then you only get one or the other. So it's like, I'm not even going to go down the Quibi road. I'm not even going to take the free year because I just want to keep Netflix over that.
Yeah.
So, and Quibi's like $15 a month, and they're like, you're competing with Disney Plus, which is $6.99 a month,
Right.
And it has everything that you want to watch.
Yeah,
on it.
Right.
And then you have all these other services. They're just saying it's really hard. It's going to be really hard for them to carve out a niche
Oh, yeah.
of where they'll excel because.
Like short form video is definitely a thing. Like that's why Vine was so popular. But Vine was like even like incredibly short form.
Yeah.
Like there's no like narrative unless you strung a bunch of them together.
Right.
But you know, like there's definitely a marketplace for short form video, and like I thought that was going to be YouTube, but YouTube it prioritizes longer run times because you can have longer audience retention.
Yeah.
So it kind of pushes people out of that space. Like 10 minutes is probably the shortest a video should be if you're doing
Right.
something on YouTube to hit like all the analytic triggers.
Well, Disney Plus, they have a few
Oh, I'm going to talk about that too.
few TV or shows on the streaming service. And they're only like 5 minutes long, and they'll do like little tours of Disney and stuff like that. But it's really cool because you get to see how like these people work, but they're only 5 minutes.
I really do like Disney Plus. I really do. I think they really. I watched the Jeff Goldblum show. I've watched some of those 5-minute quick ones. We've watched like some behind the one about Onward was really good. The making of Onward was fantastic, and it was short form. So it's like they've got everything. They've got short form content, long term, and that's some of the natures of the shows because they've got like Darkwing Ducks aren't very long, and like some of the Gargoyle, like all those other shows aren't very long. But I wanted to talk to you about this before the podcast. We're talking about The Simpsons.
Yep.
They
I forgot they were on
it.
Disney Plus.
They nailed it with how they handled the Simpsons epidemic. So Simpsons went through this whole thing. It was 4:3, and then they switched it to 16:9 halfway through or whatever.
Yeah, pan and scan.
And
okay, sorry, go ahead.
And so when Disney Plus, so when I guess when the DVDs were cut, this was a problem then too. They put everything out there 16:9, and some of the jokes are meant to be seen in 4:3.
Yeah,
some of
that's
the visual
what
gags.
pan and scan is when you take a 4:3, you put a 16:9 box on it, and then you just move that box wherever it covers most of what you're trying to do.
Right.
So
And
that's pan and scan.
it really cut into whatever, right? So then they fixed it for the DVD releases, and when it came out on Disney Plus, everybody was like, didn't think it was going to be a problem, and it still aired in 16:9. So they like pan and scan the footage, and it cuts out the visual gags. Disney's response to that, it took a while, but they redid the entire engine to run their platform to fix The Simpsons. I read this
Dang.
huge long article
Holy
about it. It
cow.
was really good. And so basically, streaming services, or the way Disney Plus started, is they put everything into like a little box. So like the audio tracks in there and all the languages, and then the subtitles and all the languages, and then the actual content itself, it all goes in this little box, and it like references that little box. And the way that they did it, there was no way for them to do 4:3 or like change the format and make it work really well. Or if they would just band-aided it, it would like break all of the add-ons.
Okay.
So it would like if they gave you the option to watch it 4:3, only English, no subtitles or whatever would make it, right? So they redid the entire engine and added a toggle and like added all of the other content. So there's like twice as much to be able to stream. And so they redid their entire engine around it. So now when you go watch The Simpsons, you can do like as shot or 16:9. So then you just flip this
Does
toggle
anybody
on each
choose to
SOS.
watch a 16:9?
Well, I'm sure now that it's an option, I'm sure some people will go back and want to watch it 4:3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right,
You
but
know, just-
why would
trying
they
to-
even have a toggle to choose to watch a 16:9?
trying to
Well,
think- I
some
think-
people.
It was like 2007, I want to say, was when they switched it over because that's like when the big HD TV thing happened,
Right.
and that's when most things switched to shooting widescreen. The reason this is sort of a
Futurama
funny,
was the same way.
so Friends was shot on film, and that's why all the episodes of Friends are in 16:9 now because they started 4:3. But then you go back to the original
Film.
film material, and then which is why it also looks like really good. There's some stuff you see that is like if it's shot on videotape or whatever.
Yeah.
It looks like it was shot on videotape. It looks terrible.
Right.
But there's like Friends looks like it was shot today. You know,
Right.
it's like
Right.
it looks amazing, and it was because they were able to go back to the source material and bring it back up and like restore it or whatever to make it awesome. So
Yeah.
And that's the fun thing even about like a lot of movies is that the fact that we can take film and up high resolution scan it into technology nowadays. I started shooting cameras on film, or started working with film. It was my first media when it came to photography, and I developed my own photos and everything, black and white. So you're not dealing with pixels. Film's great. Film was a great invention. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you go way back to plates and stuff like that, and it was really low resolution. A lot of that was like lenses too. It couldn't, like, we watched the show called The Repair Shop.
I was wondering if you would bring that up.
Excellent show. And back then, the cameras, to adjust focus, you'd physically switch the distance from the lens
Yeah.
to the plate to get the focus. There were no twisting and moving the internals. It was physically moving the lens. So that's why they had the shadow boxes and everything.
because it was a single lens.
It was a single lens,
Yeah.
and you would like move the lens to set the focus on. And then they had like the back plate was glass and somewhat translucent. So what you were looking at was actually like, you'd focus on the glass, and you could see what you actually were going to see. And then you slide your plate in, and then expose it, and they show the shutter and everything. But
Yeah, so most film stock has like if you digitize it 1-for-1 has roughly about 8K quality worth of.
really,
Yeah.
so you can quantify that.
Wow.
Yeah, because like people are asking, it's like, well, so we're doing all these 4K scans and stuff like that. It's like, how much data is there actually on the thing? And it's kind of hard to do, but they're like, it's approximately 8K.
That's
resolution.
really cool.
Crazy.
Like at maximum before you start losing fidelity.
Right. Well, and that was even so, like billboards, for example, and stuff like that. When digital came out, you had to have a really good camera if you were going to do a digital version because of how big it was going to be blown up. And so when you had film, I mean, before that it wasn't an issue because you could blow stuff up again, drive-in movies, theater, everything. You could put film big because of what it is.
Yep.
And so it's cool that it's basically 8K. That's really neat.
Yeah, so, and then there are other formats that are like a little bit bigger, but that's like on average, like individual film frame contains like the same amount of data as an 8K frame.
That's awesome. But yeah, you can go look at old photo. Like if you actually go take the negatives and retreat them well, you can get really high quality developments out of old negatives.
Well, one of the things that always sort of blows my mind, like people when people talk about stuff and having like the film look, what they're, in my opinion, what they're looking for is dynamic range.
Right.
There's so the human eye. I can't remember what the thing is. The human eye
Right.
can see like 16 or 18
Right.
stops of dynamic range or something. Most cameras can do like from 10 to like 13 or 14 right now. But like film is so forgiving. You can get like 3 or 4 extra stops of range.
Right.
Depending on how you process it. So like
Right.
you could overexpose an entire movie when you go and shoot the thing and recover most of it. And like no one would be the wiser because of the way that you actually develop it. You just like underdevelop the overexposed
Yep.
areas, and there's still detail
Dodging and
in
burning,
there.
man. And that's what I've talked about this in the past. The joke of like the save icon means something to us because we
Yep.
used to use floppies.
Yep.
The tools in Photoshop
Yeah,
for dodging
dodging
and
and
burning
burning.
are what they used to use in real life. You take a piece of cardboard in a little circle and you would just block the light from it exposing that area of your paper. The actual print is like you're re-exposing a piece of paper to the light and you're shooting the light through the negative. And then the shadows, come in, everything comes in because of the negative and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
like dodging and burning and stuff like that. And that's when I made the switch to digital, people are like, "Oh, you're modifying your picture so much." And it's like, you can do whatever you want with film. You can modify film too. You can
Yeah, like you
Right.
can do any type of masking you want to do. You can do double exposures, quadruple
absolutely,
exposures.
absolutely.
You can do. Yeah, there's so much manipulation already. It's like people can just shut up about
I know.
digital modification.
And that was what, man, Lightroom did it for me when it came to digital photography. That was the key I was missing. I was like, because I started off, take my negatives. I would develop my negatives, and then I would develop my prints, and I would dodge and burn and get like everything set the way I wanted to, and I would develop them.
Wasn't there something you could do with film where like you could take one picture, pull it back to that same picture, and take
double
pictures?
exposure?
Yeah, and then you could like
You could do it to the film
face outline or whatever, and then have like trees in the background.
and
or
you could do
whatever.
it during the actual shoot. You could do it during the development. So film, right? So you take your negatives, you develop them, you shoot the light on a piece of paper, and you do like a test strip, and you learn. So like, okay, the paper needs to be exposed for 4 seconds, let's say. So you turn the your lamp on. There's a name for it, the projector, on. You let it burn onto the paper for 4 seconds. You shut it off. You put it in the developer. It'll come to life. You put it in the stop. The paper is no longer sensitive to light. You're good to go, right? So if you're going to do that, you want to do a double exposure, and you didn't have the double film, you take one and you do it in half then. So you expose a piece of paper for 2 seconds, you grab your next negative, and then expose the next thing for 2 seconds. Now that paper has been developed by 2 different negatives. You develop it and stop it, and you can do that. So it's the same thing, but Lightroom filled in the gap for me for that, because it was like I could take my negatives,
your raws.
my raws, and then treat them, get it back to how I saw it in real life, because that whole dynamic stop thing, and then outport my exports were my prints. You can take it a step further and get it printed in real life.
Yeah. Well, so then like in the same way that you talk about like you do like you're exposing or whatever, it's like I take it from Lightroom, and if there's any like crazy advanced stuff I need to do, then it goes into Photoshop.
Yep.
Where you have your dodge and burn tools and stuff.
Oh, dodge, burn, sharpen. I mean, there's so much. I can't believe what you can do to sharpen an image too. Like it looks good, and then you put some sharpening on it, and it's like, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yep.
So, and then you go put it on a format like Instagram, and it just goes compresses the heck out of it.
Yeah.
It does.
Compression is my most hated enemy. I get why they have to do it. I understand, but it makes me real mad. I wish I could pay like $1 and be like, don't compress this one file, please.
Right.
Right.
And then people take that compressed photo and they copy it and they repost it.
Yeah.
And then it gets compressed again, and then it gets compressed again.
That's why memes all look like garbage.
I know.
Cause every time it gets posted to Facebook, it gets compressed.
Yep.
It doesn't check to see if it's already compressed or not.
Yep.
And so it's like, I can't remember if you showed me this or if I just stumbled across it, but somebody made a video and then they uploaded it to YouTube and then downloaded it, and they re-uploaded it like 10,000 times.
Yep.
And it shows exactly like at what generation you start getting like these horrible breaks, and like the audio and the video get out of sync, and just like everything just looks terrible.
It looks terrible. It like ends up after. I mean, I've seen that, and it ends up after like to the 10,000 times. It's all pixel.
Yeah.
Like the whole video is one giant blob of color, and that's
Ooh.
it. It's great. But after like 100 times, it's pretty. It's pretty bad. It looks like it was shot on one of a Motorola Razr.
Yeah,
like
something
back in the
like
day.
that.
It's crazy.
It's bad. Actually, so something I like watching old football games on YouTube, and something like the 1976 AFC Championship game or something random like that.
Right.
And it's like, and it was old 4-3 like broadcast, right? And I watched this, man, TV looked like crap back then. It was like, well, hold on a second. I was like, I'm watching on a monitor that's bigger than most people.
Right.
But it has like, if I rescale it down to the size that it would have been, it actually looks really good.
Right.
You know, because it's like, it's actually the right number of pixels. It's just getting stretched out to fill
Right.
the frame.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that actually doesn't look that bad, even for being a VHS recording of a whatever that's been uploaded to YouTube.
My coworker just replayed the original Mario Kart for Super Nintendo, and he's like, I have no idea what was going on. I couldn't see the course, I couldn't see the items, I couldn't see the things. And we were talking about that, and it was like, it has to be because of the TV you're playing on modern technology. Because like you go back and you don't remember it being that bad. Like you could totally tell what was going on back in the day. So it must be, like, I love that people will play Fallout on like TVs from the 1950s to really sell.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
To
cool.
really sell that retro feeling that Fallout is supposed to give. And
Do you
the
say
pictures look cool.
Yeah.
Fallout.
You said fall off, but
Yeah.
Fallout, yeah.
Bingo bango bongo, I don't want to leave the Congo. No. It's a Fallout song.
Danny
Sorry.
Kaye.
Oh,
So
man.
that Fallout 4 had an epic soundtrack. I could listen to Diamond City Radio all freaking day.
It is really
so
good. Sometimes when we're bored, we'll just play Fallout 4 music because it's like so much fun.
It's
That's
all like that
awesome.
50s kind of, got some Frank, Danny Case.
Grandma's playing the numbers.
Right? It's got
Oh,
some good
man.
stuff in there.
That kind of like that about us. Like it kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto, where they have all these different radio stations.
Yes.
And stuff. And it's like How do you fit all that onto this disc with a huge game too? Like these big sandboxy open world games, then they have like 40 terabytes of music inside of it too.
Well, and that was just, we talked about, they made the entire Sonic the Hedgehog game, Sega, and the Sega was 1/8 of the total memory size.
Yeah, on the launch. Yeah,
Yeah, and that was like, what? And then you can do all of that. Forza games have an excellent soundtrack, and I've actually went and purchased music that I heard in the game is how much I like some of the music that's out there and stuff like that, or that is in the soundtrack for the game.
You know, a game has a terrible soundtrack, and I've never understood why they have it. Madden. Madden has never had a good soundtrack ever. There's always just random, just like terrible music. Maybe I just sound old, but it's just like it's never anything good. It doesn't sound like football music to me, first of all.
Right.
You know, it's like I just want to hear the Sam Spence like NFL Films music.
You just totally brought me back to the original Tony Hawk's Underground Thug.
Yeah.
The soundtracks, chew up your ham, doing it. The song I can like totally picture because they're remaking one.
Yeah, they're doing the remasters for 1 and 2.
1 and 2 onto one game. And then I saw a thing that here's what blows my mind. This blows my mind. You and I are obsessed with like 4K, like shooting stuff in 4K, really pushing the envelope for quality, and it completely blew my mind that Blu-ray, the awesomeness of Blu-ray is only 1080.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like I remember being so excited to get a 1080p TV, get HD DVD, and watch high definition movies, and it's like I'm getting all excited over 1080p now because it's just so common. 1080p is the standard. Our minimum threshold is what we deem to shoot in or work with is 1080p footage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The minimum we prefer, but the fact that it's like we're treating Blu-ray as the minimum. So anyways, the whole thing is Lord of the Rings sounds like it's coming out on a 4K release.
I'm going to buy it.
And so I was like, Carrie, you want to rewatch Lord of the Rings? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you own them in 4K? Like, I was like, and then that's why I looked up when they're coming out. But she's like, no, I have the Blu-rays. And I was like, sweet, Blu-rays. And I was like, oh, that's only 1080. You know, that's only 1080. It's crazy to me. But the extended edition of Lord of the Rings Blu-ray is still 2-disc.
Well, it's like 3.5 hours.
I have to switch discs to watch Lord of the Rings Blu-ray? Are you kidding me?
I can't remember what it is. The data size is really small on a Blu-ray, honestly.
52 gigs. 52 or 54. A DVD is 8 and Blu-ray is 52.
And I think there's like,
it depends on how many layers you do, too. You can do up to 4 layers, I think, on it. On a
Blu-ray? For DVD, it's 4 gigs per layer, and you can do 2 legs in a DVD. So most DVDs are 8 gigs. And I don't know why I do it. I didn't start doing it until Kara and I were together. But when we would watch show, you'd see the DVD switch layer. There's always that little pause, and then it continues. And I would just verbally say, switch layers. Switch layers. Because I would, for whatever stupid reason. So I don't know about Blu-ray. I know it can go up to 4 layers and like whatever the total size is. Like, 'cause I think it can go up to 80 gigs. I thought, or maybe it's 64 or whatever. But whatever that is divided by 4 is what a single layer is. Like 16 gigs a layer.
And I did buy, I'm pretty sure, like the special edition because like probably 6-7 years ago they came out with like the Blu-ray box set comes in like a fancy case and all this stuff because Lord of the Rings, yo. And so I bought that, and I'm pretty sure on the discs you can choose to either watch regular extended or with commentary. So then now you've got 2 different.
Oh, maybe one. I don't know. It says there's when you open up.
No, you had to, I'm pretty sure you have to change it still. Okay. But I'm saying like.
Okay. So what it is there's 4 discs in there though. There's Lord of the Rings disc 1, 2, and then a special features disc and another special features disc. So.
When is the 90 disc Star Wars coming out?
It's out. People have been getting it.
Okay.
Yeah, the full trilogy I don't know if it's still in 4K yet though.
I thought the thing that was all 9 movies with like 4 discs each thing.
I think that's out because it's like it's got the Death Star and you open it up and like all 9 movies are in there.
Okay, speaking of.
I'm looking it up. Don't mind me.
On the Star Wars Celebration page, somebody posted that they had just completed their collection of the Star Wars Vault books. These things
don't even get me started on those.
Are sick. So there's, I mean, you've seen the basic books. So like the Book of the Sith, the Book of the Jedi, Bounty Hunters, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they come in these electronic vaults that you have to press certain buttons to open them up. And like, in the Bounty Hunter one, you press a button and it partially lifts up and a bunch of lights flip up or turn on, and then you have to grab a card, insert it into the vault, and then it actually finally opens up. It's like,
dang.
and then there's like a Sith holocron. You press a button and like the front panel of the triangle lifts up and the book slides out. It's like, I
That's
need
sick.
this.
That's
but it's
really
like
cool.
it's like $400
Dang.
for one.
That's
And-
pretty outrageous.
They came out in 2013, so part of the cost I think is scarcity. But
Yeah.
the complete Skywalker saga with digital copy and 4K and Blu-ray, so you get all quality versions. It's $250.
Wow, I'm surprised you haven't bought that. The Lord of the Rings set that I bought was $100, and it was 3 movies.
Yeah, this is 9 movies. It looks sick. Yep. This collection features the entire Star Wars saga, capturing moments from Anakin Skywalker's descent into the dark side all the way up to the Resistance to restore peace in the galaxy.
See, here's what we do. We buy that. That is ours. If people want to borrow Star Wars, they can borrow our old sets.
It's 27 discs. So 3 discs
3
per
days
movie.
per movie, okay.
So one is 4K, one is Blu-ray, one is special features.
I will say this. So
And then you get digital too.
when Lord of the Rings first came out with their like extended series, they each individually came in a box set that was probably like that thick. And yeah, each one came with like 6 discs, I think it was. And that's 3 movies.
Oh,
3
then
movies on 6 discs each.
I was
Jeez.
dangling the carrot in front of Kara. I was like, what if they add more footage to the 4K versions of the movies? Kara's like, oh, we're
Okay.
getting
You got 8 seconds more of Aragorn's
That
belt.
she would kill for it. Her and her brother would watch the entire movie for those 8 seconds.
I would. Okay, so here's
They
the thing.
would. They're
Jeremy,
crazy.
Jeremy texted me earlier this week, and he was like, "Kara, do you want to watch Lord of the Rings this weekend?" And I was like,
Okay.
yeah." And so last night he's like, "Well, you gotta find them or whatever," and they're sitting in our fireplace thing, mantelplace, and
It's an electric fireplace off of Wayfair. It's like $100.
I assumed-
We don't have a big fancy
No.
fireplace to smoke our pipes in front of. No, it's a little electric fireplace because we're freeze babies.
my Gandalf pipe.
Yeah.
I assumed he meant we watch all of them in one weekend.
No!
Which I would totally do. I had surgery like 4 years ago, and I sat and I watched all of them. And then on top of it, he burst my bubble with watching them all in one
I said,
weekend.
Kara, I meant let's watch the Fellowship of the Ring, and then next week we'll watch the Two Towers, and
then
we'll finish off with Return.
he really drove the knife in when he said theatrical cut and not extended version.
I was like, let's just watch the theatrical version. And Kara looked at me like I was not really. She's never seen me before, ever in her entire life. She just looked at me like,
You can't go from watching the extended cut to watching the theatrical cut.
I don't know that I've ever seen the extended.
For realsies?
there's a lot. It's only 20 minutes extra footage or something.
Something like that. I think it's
It's a lot longer.
I think it's 12 plus minutes each one.
If they took all of the footage that they shot for the movie and just played it out in a row,
Kara would
you
watch
just
it.
watch the whole thing.
Kara would
Yeah,
watch
I would.
it.
You kidding me?
Like, okay,
Dang right I
Vigo, let's
would.
take that again from the top. He's like, I'll get you, Sauron. He's like, no, you never actually interact with him. He's like, I didn't read the script.
Oh, man.
Well, we should. That's one of the things we should talk about with Justin the next time he's on here, is because there's been multiple releases of the extended editions. Because the ones that Kara have is the most recent edition where they already added. Like, if you talk to Kara's brother about this, there's that exact thing. So the movies came out, it was theatrical release. And they released the special edition DVDs, and that had extended edition. And the ones that Kara has more extended edition footage. Like,
There is a few extra seconds that I've noticed in the. It's been a while since I've watched them, so I couldn't tell you exactly where, but I did remember a few extra seconds here and there. Like, I don't remember that in the previous extended cut, but I'm okay with it.
oh my gosh! Not only do the extended edition have more content, they also have extended credits. So the Fellowship of the Ring normal version is 178 minutes, and the extended version is 208 minutes. Or if you go out the extended credits, 228.
20 extra minutes of credits?
Okay, do you realize, like, how much they had to put into this to make it as good as they are?
I feel like some of the extra 20 minutes of credits is people that are like, all I did was work on the extra credits.
Probably.
The Two Towers, or it's just the people they brought in to work on the extended edition
Yep.
DVDs. The Two Towers is 179-minute normal theatrical runtime, and the extended is 2 hours and 23 minutes, or 223 minutes. 223 minutes. What's 223 minus 179?
What, 44 minutes?
40, yeah, something 40 something.
Sure, there's 40 minutes of extended footage in the two towers. 40 minutes of content. That's a whole other movie. And then 13
Excellent.
Well, so
minutes of extended credits.
Keep this in mind. 180 minutes is 3 hours. 240 minutes is 4 hours. These are almost 4-hour-long movies.
She wants to watch it in
Hashtag
one
worth
sitting.
it.
One sitting.
People do it all the time.
We're crazy people.
You wake up, you have breakfast at 8 a.m., and then when you're done watching the movies, you catch a late dinner.
You have pizza
Return of the
delivered-
King has 50 minutes of extended footage. It goes from a 200-minute runtime to 251 minutes. 251 minutes. 4 hours and 10 minutes of footage. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
I love Lord of the Rings.
The extended edition adds 20, 40, 50 minutes or whatever.
So read me the runtime.
It ends
so
up
we do
being
it
like
quick.
13 hours, I think.
But
200, is it just the extended runtimes?
yeah, give me the longest possible runtimes here.
208 minutes.
Okay.
I think it's 11
No,
and a half.
with the extra credits.
So 228
Okay.
plus 235 plus 263.
I think it's like 11 and a half hours regular, and then after all of that, I think it's around 13 some hours.
Minutes.
Divided by 60, right?
Well, hold on. So we have 726 minutes divided by. Whoops. Let's go equals. There we go. Yeah, 12.1 hours.
For 3 movies. I could
So-
watch the entire Skywalker saga practically.
Yeah, you could watch the prequels and the original trilogy in that same amount of time.
Twice the amount of movies in the same
Okay,
amount of
now
time.
here's the thing. What movie has compared to Titanic in amount of awards won,
All right.
including Best Picture?
All right, Chris. We can have
Return of the King.
I
11 awards.
I don't like Titanic, so that's a bad comparison for me.
Here's what we need to do. We need to have Kara and I need to have a movie battle off. So we set a TV up with like a cam on the face, and we hit go, and then we time lapse like the reactions, or we cut the reactions of like the amount of emotions and feeling you get across that same
you
time
will see
frame.
me cry multiple times during Lord of the
movie
Rings.
is like if you're gonna sit down and watch 13 hours of movies.
When the beacons of Gondor are lit, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes.
It actually makes me feel bad saying, "Oh, like when the Death Star blows up." But like, I don't know. Like,
You don't
I guess
cry when the Death Star blows
well,
up.
I guess what I was gonna say. I guess Lord of the Rings has more meaningful moments, but you have to go
Yeah.
through a lot of slow time to get to them.
But it's so worth it. It's so good. And so last night we were arguing about CGI.
How happy am I when Anakin gets his legs cut off and I have the high ground, Anakin.
Did you
Don't
like
try
the
it.
mannequin I sent?
Yeah.
And Cornobi.
Don't try it, Anakin.
My favorite one is when they rename that mountain Kenobi or whatever. And he's
Yeah.
like, give it up, Anakin.
I am the high ground. So memeable.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, I'll watch the prequels right next to you watching Lord of the Rings. I'll watch the
You're gonna watch
episodes.
the prequels.
Well-
I will be enjoying myself much more than you
You'll
will
be done with the prequels by the time you're done with the opening credits of
Yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring.
So Fellowship of the Ring, when probably a couple years after it first came out, I'd watched it so many times that I think I could have quoted line for line the entire Fellowship of the Ring,
Dang.
including the Elvish.
Dang.
Nerd alert.
One more step and I'll be further away from home than I've ever been.
Exactly. Oh, Sam.
What a career that guy's had too. He's playing the Stranger Things, then he gets
Sean
killed
Astin?
by
I mean,
the Demogorgons.
He's in Rudy.
Yep.
Really?
He was
He's
Rudy.
Rudy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen. I don't know what Rudy is.
51st Dates? It's a football movie.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's basically like he's like an undersized like defensive lineman at Notre Dame, and like he tries really hard, but he's just never good enough to play.
Does he have a developmental disability? I forget.
I don't recall. I was in high school the last time I watched it.
It's been a long time.
It's a really freaking good
It
movie.
is good. I have, well, it's at my parents' house, but I forgot it. But yeah, he was in 51st Dates. He plays the jock brother.
Huh.
Of,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yep.
So he's had quite the diverse
Yeah.
acting career. He's good.
Oh, and then I
Sean
thought it
Astin's
might
good.
be fun to do a good bad. of Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You will not hear any bad from me. It'll be like, this is good.
But that's going to be like,
good.
too long, too
Okay.
long, too long, too long.
I do have a couple complaints where I did not appreciate Peter Jackson's additions. Not talking about the Hobbits.
Okay.
So, like, in Two Towers.
But save it for the show, Kara. Save it for the episode.
Yeah.
You let us know. Comment and let us know if you think, if you're still watching.
Yeah.
Let us
We're
know.
crossing the hour mark now, I think.
Yeah,
Gosh.
we can probably wrap
I
it
could
up
talk
here in a
about Lord of the
second,
Rings
but,
for hours.
I do want to reiterate, we have an email now.
The
You can
Fellowship
email
of the
us.
Podcast.
Yeah, right. Let us know if we should do a good bad for Lord of the Rings. I want to see people put us. I love reading the comments on the Terribles
Yeah.
series. People
Get
either
mad.
don't watch them and they just complain,
Yeah.
Yep.
or they do watch them and they like they have really valid, like, all the comments are good on those
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, it's like you can tell if people haven't watched it or read the description. The first line of the descriptions of all the videos and the very open of all the videos says, "We're doing this because we're also doing one that there's a good side too of all of
Seriously.
these."
We're just trying to like look at things with a different perspective, or let's put, fandom aside, and actually there are bad things about those movies, and let's talk
There's
about
bad
them.
things
Yeah.
about
It's fun.
every movie. There is
It's
no
fun.
perfect movie out there.
I want to do Indiana Jones now.
I would be willing to
I
do
do
that
not
too.
like the Temple of Doom. I would do a good bad about that though.
Well, I think
Indiana
we should do Lord of the Rings first, though.
Heck
Yeah.
to the yes. We'll watch one tonight.
I need time to edit the podcast.
I'll usually why I said theatrical. Now I'm really convincing myself of watching theatrical.
No.
You would
One
save
does
yourself
not
like almost
simply-
2 hours.
I
from
know.
Extended to theater. Granted, you're not going to watch the credits anyway.
Right.
Right.
But-
Except, okay, so when it comes to the credits, I do always listen to the credits. This first song played at the end of the credits. It's so good.
Lord of the Rings has amazing music. Who did the sound?
Howard
Shore.
Shore.
Okay.
That man.
Kara reminds me of that weekly. She's like, just so you know, Howard Shore is the best.
John
No, John
Williams
Williams
and
is
Howard
the best.
Shore.
I agree.
They're excellent composers. Hans Zimmer's not bad, but I feel like all of his stuff eventually sounds the same. So like the
that's-
Gladiator soundtrack sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean, or
Like,
vice versa.
What
you
blows
know.
me away is like they came out with a new trilogy, right? And you get John Williams to do it. How like Ray's theme.
Yeah.
It sounds completely Star Warsy, but yeah, but how does he do it? I don't know how he
I
does
know.
it. You give the theme and a mood of Star Wars,
He's
but
just that
new
good.
content.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I think Alan Silvestri is pretty underrated. He did Back
Yeah,
to the Future.
he did. He also did. Alan Silvestri did all of the Captain America movies.
So
Whoa, Kara's
Yeah.
dropping over some sweet knowledge.
I
on us.
have the Captain America soundtrack on my phone. So
yeah, there's some Danny Elfman, also really good. He did the Simpsons theme song, but he,
Got
it. Okay.
the original Batman, like '89 Batman.
Oh,
cool. Is that the da 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 da?
Only 'cause we're talking
no,
about-
that's the one with Michael Keaton, where it's
Oh.
like the
Okay.
I can't think of the tune. I can't think of the tune off the top of my head. I just can't sing it.
just because we're talking about all these old, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, James Bond, right? James Arnold Taylor is watching James Bond with his daughters, and then he's going back. He's going new to old, so he's watching
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, and then Pierce Brosnan, and then like Roger Moore, and keep going backwards, right?
Yeah, Timothy Dalton.
And
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
her
That's all.
favorite Bond, her favorite Bond is Pierce Brosnan, and I was like,
Really?
I like Pierce Brosnan a lot.
Those ones came out
I
when we
do-
were like in middle school, didn't
Yeah.
they?
I do too, but it's like Daniel Craig is just he's really
He's
really
so
good.
just,
I don't know. Casino Royale with Daniel Craig is one of my favorite ones. It's just
I really liked Skyfall.
Skyfall was excellent.
Skyfall.
That was my
Quantum
first
of Solace-
introduction to
Yeah,
Adele.
and all the even number,
Daniel
the
Craig
second
ones?
and fourth ones were both terrible.
Yes. Oh, Skyfall is the bad guy is no, it's not. It isn't
Christoph
Christoph
Waltz
Waltz.
is 4.
Christoph Waltz is 4, but darn it, I like Christoph Waltz too.
I do too.
Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Okay,
or
so I
Unchained
kept
or
telling
whatever.
Jeremy he had to watch Django Unchained. He didn't watch it until he was in Georgia.
No one told me that movie was so good.
I told you it was awesome.
My
and we had
dad's been trying to
watch
get me to watch that since a kid. My dad's probably seen it 50 times.
Oh wait,
It's
wait.
so
Have you not
good.
seen it?
I haven't seen
I would
it.
watch that with you today. Is how
I
much
would
I love
too.
That movie.
It's so good.
It is
Quentin
it is-
Tarantino.
I love Tarantino. It's just
blood
like
of
that- that- so
Wazoo.
that's the thing. It's like I need to be in the mood to
I
watch a
get
Quentin
it.
You
Tarantino
do.
movie.
You really do. It's
like-
an
so-
excellent movie.
And so my dad also suggested Hateful Eight, which is another Tarantino.
I haven't seen that one.
thing. Not as highly regarded, but yeah, it's just I need to be in a Tarantino mood.
I get it.
But like
But,
I'll
yeah.
watch 5 Tarantino movies in a row when I'm
Right.
in the mood for it. But it's just like
Well, I've been watching Outlander, and I've probably gone a month now without watching it because I have to be in a mood to watch it. You know, I can't just sit down and turn it on. It's got to be like, I've got to be in a mood.
Like just the opening scene of Django sets the pace for the entire movie. Christoph Waltz is in a little It's like in the Western.
Yeah.
And he's got a horse in it. So he's a traveling dentist, but also a bounty hunter. Is that
Yeah.
right? He's a dentist and a bounty hunter. Just
More or less, yeah.
oh, it's so good. So he's got like his cart has like a tooth on top of
On
it
his spring.
like on his spring, and these people go to mess with him, and he just like Old West blasts him down, and he frees.
He's got
Jamie.
a little pearl handle revolver that he shoots people with.
But he's
and-
just epic. And then he releases Jamie Foxx is a slave.
Yep. Yes, he's a part of a slave group that's being taken to auction or whatever, and he ends up stopping the slavers, killing them, letting the guys go. But then Jamie Foxx ends up sticking with him.
Yep. And then he teaches him how to be a bounty hunter.
Cool.
And just this is such a good movie. Such a good
And
movie.
his whole drive is to free his wife from a slave owner.
Jamie Foxx's.
Yeah, Jamie
Yes,
Foxx's.
yep.
Yep. That's his whole drive.
Swoop. That's right. They spend the whole movie tracking her down.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Cool.
Very good. Very good movie.
So
It's got Titanic.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep. It's
And
got Leonardo DiCaprio
That's
in
the
it.
scene that's he's
Oh, is that
fam-
when he smashes his hand and cuts it wide open?
and keeps acting.
Samuel
Yep.
L.
Yeah.
Jackson.
He's
in it.
He's in like every Tarantino
I
movie.
know.
But he's so good in this. It's
I didn't realize it was him
It's
until
how-
like
it's how good it is.
yeah, it's
Is he like, what's in your wallet?
right, seriously. He's just like this old short slave. He's
Really
just
short. Interesting.
yeah, I don't remember him being
He's not short in real life, but I
not
don't
in real
know.
life. I don't know.
His character
You
is
need to
super
watch it.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Well, his character's not that great.
But all right, we've rambled on long enough. This is episode 56 of the podcast.
I probably
But I want to
on this
reiterate,
one.
you can get a hold of us at contact@riseofthepodcast if you want to send us an email, and we will read your emails. I've been keeping post of it, but we really
I was
just
gonna
got
say,
to...
has anybody checked that?
I've been checking it every day.
I legit forgot that we had.
We have email. I put it in the description when I made the podcast.
Yeah, I forgot to put that in there too.
I put it in there, so we're good.
I'm
But,
so bad at that.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right, well, so thank you guys for sticking with us this long. We've been kind of all over the place, didn't really have any type of direction, but we got here anyway. Like the video if you got this far into it. I can't imagine you getting this far in and just being angry. So just like, come on, give us a like. Comment down below if there's anything you want to see us talk about. What you think we should do a Great or Terrible review of. If you haven't checked out the Great or Terrible reviews, you should, because they're totally worth it.
They are. They're fun.
Subscribe if you're not already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time we upload a video, or when we go live. We inch ever closer to having our live infrastructure in place. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course...
May the force be with you.